Hey everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 13, Episode 16, Twin Tweaks. Well, Jamaica can finally rest at ease because the ladies are back on California soil and getting all ready for surgeries. Okay, we know about Shannon's upper and lower eyelid surgery, but we heard nothing about Vickis' lower facelift. Don't you think that's strange? Shannon talked all about surgery when they were in Jamaica. I'm gonna drink tonight. It's my night, ladies. Don't you think it's weird that Vicky didn't say, yeah, me too? I don't know, I thought that was weird. But anyway, we start this episode off at Vicky's house, and Vicky and Steve are talking about her impending surgery. You know, I don't say too much positive about Steve, but he does seem to have a rational fear of elective surgery, and I can appreciate that. Although this lower face and neck surgery, I would love. Even though I know better, chasing your youth is a fool's game. But still, oh man, I would just love it. And even though I realize that my not being able to afford it is probably saving me from myself, I still get like just a little jelly. Anyway, Steve's like, so after this, like, you're done then, right? And she isn't totally not answering. Because why would she be done? She's not done. She'll be happy for a while, but then, you know, she's going to keep getting older. And at some point when she's, 70 or whatever, she's going to want to do it again or do more. I don't know why he thinks this is it now. Especially because Vicky's had a lot of stuff done. Oh my God, it's funny. We get the montage of Vicky's faces from season 1 until now. When you look at it like that, or if you put a picture of her against Vicky of season 1, she's unrecognizable. I don't think she looks unnatural or anything like that. But yeah, don't they say that you, like, once you do it, you kind of get addicted to it? Like getting your first tattoo, they always say, oh, okay, now you won't be able to stop. So anyway, no judgment there. You do you, Vicky, and yeah. Oh, we do learn something interesting. Apparently, Vicky has an inner middle ear tumor that goes up to her brain, and she's had 10 surgeries on it since she was like 5 years old. So Steve said, make sure you tell the doctor about that. And she's like, oh yeah, I don't think he's gonna go near that area. And he's like, you have to tell him, because that could affect how he does the surgery. So she said she was going to, but she didn't. Actually, later in the show, after her surgery, we find out that she did not tell the doctor. And when the doctor came out to talk to Steve and tell him how it went, he said, yeah, so she's had these surgeries. And Steve said, oh yeah. And the surgeon said, I didn't know anything about it. Actually, once we got in there then, that added an hour to the surgery. Vicky, what's wrong with you? I mean, don't you think that's important? Okay, over at Tamara's house, Tamara and Eddie are sitting outside having lunch, and Tamara's filling him in on their trip, and she said, Gina and Emily don't think Shannon likes them. Eddie got a little ugly with the Shannon thing. He said, well, of course not. That's because she thinks her shit don't stink. Okay. And then Tamara goes, no, it's because she's insecure. She's got Eddie so fooled into thinking that she's a sweet and caring friend who really puts her friend's needs before her own. Because Eddie is just convinced that Tamara is some Mother Teresa to Shannon. You're enabling her. She sucks you dry. I'm sorry, are we talking about the same Tamara? There's probably no housewife more selfish than Tamara. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm all in for it. Tamara, don't you go changing, girl. But come on. I'm not buying it. Even if Eddie is, I'm not. Okay, next we see Emily and her little brother, and they're going to a therapy session. Oh wait, that's Shane. Shane looks like a 12-year-old wearing his dad's shorts. Why are the shorts so big? And also, put on a pair of pants. Anyway, they start to discuss their journey through infertility and the surrogacy and all that kind of thing. And Emily shares that she and Shane started trying to get pregnant right after they got married, and she was 32 years old, and she got pregnant right away, but then she miscarried. That was followed by several miscarriages. Then she carried twins, a boy and a girl, until she was 4 months pregnant, and then she went into labor, and she said, I knew they weren't going to survive, and really emotional and sad. Then Emily says that she thinks the experience was easier for Shane because he didn't have to go through the physical aspect of carrying and losing these babies and, the emotional part of it. And Shane says, well, that's not quite true because I was there right beside you the whole way through. Dude, is that really how you want to play this? Hey, it was just as bad for me as you? To the woman who's actually physically carrying these babies in her body and going through what you go through with a miscarriage. The hormone imbalances, the grief, all of that. I'm not saying that men don't have emotions. Of course they do. And of course the grieving process can be just as hard for a man. I'm not disputing that in any way, shape, or form. But don't tell your wife who was carrying them that it was just as bad for you. No. Shane's body language, by the way, is very closed off. I mean, he's got his arms crossed. He's got a very stern look on his face. I mean, he does not look like he wants to be there, but he is there. So I guess points for that. At this point now, Emily's really crying. This therapy session, it's just kicking up all these feelings that are swirling around her, and she's in it. She's feeling a lot of stuff all over again. She mentions that the hospital sent them home with a box after she lost the twins. And she hasn't been able to even open that box since. The therapist said, oh, really? And she looked at Shane and she said, how about you? Have you looked at it? And he said, yeah, and I still have it. I won't pretend to know what it feels like to have a camera crew sitting right there with cameras in your face while you're talking to your therapist about something so personal. But I do know that if my spouse was sitting right next to me crying, I would put my arms around her. I'm sitting at home watching this scene, and all I want to do is put my arms around Emily. That's how much I'm feeling her pain, and I just want to comfort her. Instinctually, I just want to comfort her. I'm struggling with why Shane doesn't. I'm really hoping that in the privacy of their own home without cameras, he does comfort her. I felt like he, in general, was more defensive than anything else during this whole session. At one point he said, I definitively do not want any more kids. And he seemed to be concerned that makes him look like the bad guy. Anyway, their therapist thinks that Emily should look inside that baby box she got from the hospital, and that maybe that'll help her move on. I don't know. Okay, now we get like 2 seconds of Kelly and Jolie at the theater camp, and then Gina FaceTiming with her mom and showing her new little studio apartment that she goes to, I guess, when Matt is at her house with the kids. I think, yeah. Back at Tamara's house, Tamara is planning a birthday party for Spencer, who is turning 18. This is interesting because we haven't seen Spencer since he was 7 years old. And that's because he's Simon's son, and Simon would not allow his children to be on camera after he left the show. And now that Spencer's 18, he gets to make his own choices, and we get to see him again. Next is Vickis Surgery, and Steve goes with her to drive her home. Actually, we jump back and forth between Vickis Surgery and Shannons Surgery. Now, I don't know if in real life they were happening simultaneously, but that's That's what this makes it look like. We cut back and forth between the two. Kelly shows up to the office for Shannon, and I was thinking Kelly was going to be her designated driver, but no. Kelly leaves before the surgery starts. So what was that all about? I don't know. Cut back to Vicky, who's getting a steroid injection that makes her hoo-ha buzz. Okay. Cut back to Shannon, who's getting these sticks put in her eyes. Like these, like, I don't know, strips of paper or what? I don't know. All I know is this. I know too much. I'm seeing too much. There's a reason why I didn't go to medical school. I don't want to see this stuff. Anyway, Shannon wakes up first. It's 2 hours later. She's got, Frankenstein eyes with the stitches in there. And 5 hours later, Vicky wakes up, which, as I told you, could have been 4 hours later if she had told the doctor about her previous surgeries. Okay, so after Shannon's surgery, she says to the confession cam, I wish I had a partner here to comfort me after surgery and take me home, but it's okay. I have a driver, and Sophie and the kids are waiting for me at home. Okay, first thought was, Sophie and the kids? Sophie is one of the kids. I know Sophie's older than the twins, but only by a couple years, and I think that's weird. Also, later, we hear Tamara say that she wanted to go with Shannon and drive her home, but Shannon said, no, I'm fine. So, what game are you playing there, Shannon? You had a couple of friends that could have stayed. Well, I don't know if Kelly could have stayed, but Tamara apparently, and you told her no. So it's almost like you wanted to feel sorry for yourself a little bit. Okay, next, Vicky is out, and oh God, Vicky is so needy. Sweetie, give it a rest. She just comes out from anesthesia, and like her first words to Steve are, do you still love me? Oh, okay. She's all puffy. She's got like a bandage wrapped all around her, and her voice is very groggy, but like raspy from, I don't know, coming out of the surgery, I guess. And she's trying to be flirty. I don't know. And she's like, Steve, I don't have any panties on. Ew, Vicky, don't do that. Vicky is turning into like a lecherous old man. Don't, Vicky, don't stop creeping people out. God. She's becoming my John Pedestrian. Next, we see Shannon. This must be a couple days later, and Sophie is changing her bandages for her eyes, and whew, Shannon looks like she lost a bar fight. She's got 2 serious black eyes. We see the party for Spencer at Tamara's house, and it's just family, but Sandy is there with her new boyfriend, Frank. And fun fact, we learned that not only is Tamara's dad named Frank, he's also there, by the way, but Sandy had a brief second marriage with a guy named Frank. And then there's another mysterious Frank that she dated, and now her current weed-smoking plumber boyfriend is the 4th Frank. We see Spencer and his girlfriend. Spencer's cute. I guess he's a good boy and he doesn't drink and all that stuff. I don't know. I think it must be true because I don't think Tamara would say it if it wasn't. Because we also get a glimpse back into like Ryan when Ryan was that age. And oh my God, they showed us that lip tattoo. Do you guys remember that? Ryan tattooed inside his bottom lip the word nugget. I still don't know what that means, if it means anything at all, or if he was just like drunk when he did it. I don't know. Maybe he was like really drunk, late at night, ran through the McDonald's drive-thru, eaten chicken nuggets, went to the tattoo parlor, and the rest is history. I don't know. I wonder if it's still there. Probably. No one can see it. That's another reason why I thought it was sort of stupid. That would be super painful to remove, I would imagine. It was probably super painful to get in the first place, right? Ugh. Next, we are back at Emily's house, and the twin boys are playing on the stairs, and they've got all their trucks, and they've got these cans of Play-Doh. And Shane walks in and Emily said, oh, they're playing monster trucks. They're having them go around the Play-Doh and go over the Play-Doh like an obstacle course. Here's Shane's reaction to that adorable story. Monster trucks are supposed to go over cars. They're 3 years old, Shane. Think we can cut him some slack this time? Anyway, Emily is ready to open the box. So Shane goes and gets it, and they go upstairs in their room, and she's sitting on the floor. And she opens it, and oh my God, you guys, this scene was rough. The first thing she sees are these little cards with their handprints and their footprints. And oh my God, they're so tiny. And then there was a card from her grandmother, who has since passed away. And so she was very surprised to see that little note from her grandma, just telling her how sorry she was and that everybody was so sorry that she lost the twins. And it was sweet, and she's just crying off all her mascara. If ever there was a moment that you probably should have gone with the waterproof mascara, Emily, opening this box from the hospital was probably it. Anyway, she does say afterwards, I'm not sure if that makes me feel any better or not. I don't even know if closure is like a real thing, but it did make her want to go downstairs and hug her boys, and she does, and I hope she got comfort in that, you know? Next, we are back at Shannon's house, and Kelly and Gina come over. Kelly brought her some food, and Gina bought her one of those pillows, you know, that kind of come around you so that you can sit up in bed. She got her one of those because she did some research, and she heard that after this kind of surgery, you should be sitting up, which I thought that was kind of cute that she made the effort to research it. So they're talking, and then Gina, you know, what the hell? Gina now feels obligated to tell Shannon because they had a breakthrough, she and Shannon. She feels that now she's got to tell her everything, and that she should know that all her friends, the day that she wasn't with everybody, that all her friends were really very concerned about her mental health. So Shannon said, well, I think that's very interesting because considering everything I'm going through and everything that is happening in my life right now, I think I'm doing quite well. I'm thinking, can you give her like a hot minute after her surgery before you lay all this stuff on her? This has nothing to do with whether I'm Team Shannon or Team Gina, but I'm not buying that Gina did it out of the goodness of her heart. Because if it was out of the goodness of your heart, you would wait a minute until she's feeling better before you lay all this on her. To the confession cam, this was funny. Shannon goes, you're gonna come here day one of my recovery and lay all this on me? Let me tell you what somebody who just had eye surgery probably shouldn't do. Cry. Oh, God. Anyway, now Kelly is agreeing with everything Gina says. And she's even the first one who brought Tamara's name up. They are really throwing Tamara under the bus. Not that they're saying anything untruthful, because Tamara did say all that stuff. But their motivation is what I'm questioning. Next, we see Vicky. And oh, Vicky does not disappoint. We are getting round 2 of the cadaver being carried out of the hotel in Iceland. Yes. Vicky is now checking into this resort because her doctor told her not to go home. Getting out of the car and being wheeled into the hotel, she has to have a scarf over her entire head. Like, I don't know. Paparazzi? I don't know, Lady Di, but you probably could have made it into your room without too much fuss. The next scene is at a restaurant called The Deck, and it's very pretty. Tamara's top, I love it. I want it. It's so pretty. Anyway, Tamara gets there first, and to the confession cam, she's telling us that Shannon just called her and reported back everything Gina said about her. Yeah. So Shannon restrained herself for probably all of 5 minutes after they left her house. Now she's waiting for Gina and Emily and Kelly to come join her for lunch. And she's pissed. Oh, Tamara is just waiting to pounce. You know it. Shannon got her all riled up. Emily gets there first, and then Gina and Kelly arrive. First red flag is that she wouldn't hug Gina. So she's like, I knew immediately that Shannon called her. Kelly says that Shannon also called her. Kelly knew that Tamara got an earful too. And this is what's bothering me. How is Kelly getting off scot-free here? That entire conversation is getting blamed on Gina. Now, Gina did bring it up. Kelly probably wouldn't have, but Kelly is the first one that used Tamara's name, and Kelly also piled on. So, I don't know. That just tells me that Shannon wants to not like Gina, and she wants to forgive Kelly because she and Kelly are friends now, and Gina, she doesn't care about. That's my take. Side note, I can't decide how I feel about Kelly's look. From the neck down, she looks like she's wearing an apron with nothing on underneath. And from the neck up, she looks like she's going to a sock hop. Like some kind of 50s dance in a gymnasium or something. But the back of her dress has like these cool straps that I'm kind of digging, so I don't know how I feel here. I'm very confused. Okay, so Kelly now reveals that Shannon just called her and that she also talked to Tamara. So Gina's like, oh, okay. And Tamara said, I just want to hear what you have to say first before I lose my. And Gina said, I just felt like I should tell her that you guys, what you were saying about how concerned you were for her mental health. Tamara goes, at any point did you say, I need to tell you what your good friend is saying about you behind your back? And Gina goes, no. And Kelly, to her credit, said, I don't remember hearing that. Tamara does look like, okay, maybe Shannon's interpretation was a little exaggerated. But then Gina goes, I mean, you did say a lot about her that day. And we get a montage of all the things that Vicky and Tamara were saying about Shannon that makes Shannon seem unstable. And also, I'm thinking, Vicky's getting off scot-free on this too. Because Vicky said just as much as Tamara did. So anyway, Gina says, you did say a lot about her. And Tamara goes, nothing that I didn't say to her face. And Gina goes, okay. And Tamara goes, but you wanted to make sure she knew, didn't you? And Gina goes, yeah, I did. So Tamara goes, did you tell her her best friend wasn't a good friend? And Gina goes, no. I would love to have heard the phone conversation between Shannon and Tamara because it really sounds like Shannon elevated this whole thing. Anyway, now Emily gets involved and she said, you know, all I can tell you is this. Right now, I have a mother who actually is going through mental health issues. So I know a little bit about what that looks like. And I see some similarities in Shannon. That kind of shut everybody up for a second. And Tamara's like, well, yeah, I am concerned about her. And Kelly's like, me too. I am too. It actually kind of diffused things a little bit between Gina and Tamara because now they were all just kind of back to, we're worried about Shannon. And finally, Tamara says, you know what? I don't want to talk about Shannon. I really don't. I want to talk about her right now. That was probably the smartest thing she could have said, and that is where this episode ends. I don't know how many we have left, guys. I feel like we must be coming close to the end because they've already filmed the reunions. Could next week be the finale? I don't know. I feel like the finale is going to be Shannon's birthday party or something? It's usually where everybody gets together again. But something was weird, like Tamara wasn't there, or I don't know. I'm intrigued. It's either going to be the finale or probably the episode before the finale, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay, time to open the viewer mailbag. As always, I want to start with a shout out to my new subscribers, Julia, Lauren, Mindy, Makeup Munchies and More. That's cute. Mama Cochran, Makeup Hobby, Amy, Courtney, Shelly, Adriana, and the Sodful. I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyway, welcome and thank you guys so much for subscribing. I hope you will be happy that you did. Okay, a lot of you have been talking about Gina and Emily and how much you are kind of liking these two, and I couldn't agree more. This comes from Helen Johns. Hi, Helen. And she says, I feel like I really got to know more about Emily and Gina. They look and act like some very fun girls to hang with. I felt a lot of empathy for Emily during her and Gina's conversation. I can relate completely. Mother-daughter relationships can be complex. Yes. And Tanya Phillips, hi Tanya. Tanya said Gina and Emily are so real. So yeah, I think we're all feeling this because that last episode was very kind of heavy on their friendship. The way they were laughing when they got to the beach and kidding around, oh, I feel like I'm on a date. And they were just so natural with each other. And also with that phone call with the mom, and when Emily was going through what she was going through, the way Gina comforted her, you know what it is? It felt genuine. I don't know if they're just the best actresses on planet Earth, but for these two rookie girls to be that comfortable on camera and that genuine with each other, I'm in. I'm all in. I'm buying it. I think also the comparison between their friendship, you know, which is relatively new, as we know, and the Tres Amigas, that seems very put on to me. I'm not denying that Shannon and Tamara and Vicky love each other and are genuine friends. They probably are, but boy, they play up to the camera. And this didn't feel like they were playing up to the camera. It feels like we're the fly on the wall, just observing this genuine friendship, you know? So anyway, thank you for your questions. And yeah, I thought that was interesting too. I know the season's ending, but I hope Bravo will like expand on their friendship a little bit. Okay, thank you so much. If you haven't yet subscribed to Jill Informed, please consider doing so. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And don't forget to leave a comment down below. I love to hear from you guys. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. Wednesday, Real Housewives of New Jersey starts. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I think this is going to be a stellar season. I just saw Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live, and he's like 10 episodes in, and he said it's amazing. So, I mean, take that with a grain of salt, I guess, but he didn't have to say that. So I think it's going to be a good season, and I can't wait, and I hope you guys are there with me. I think it's going to be fun. All right, I will see you next Monday at 1 p.m. Central Time for the next recap of The Real Housewives of Orange County. Bye-bye.